Well, hello parents, students, staff, and community. Happy Halloween! I hope that you're finding some really fun ways of celebrating the holiday with your family and a few friends. You know, as a kid, I think back as Halloween as being my second favorite holiday, a very close second to Christmas. Well, this year, Corian and I have had a great time decorating our backyard and the inside of our house for just us. Well, it's hard to believe it, but we have now been in distance learning for over 11 weeks this fall. Just incredible. You know, in the next few minutes, I would like to share some information about our schools and programs, some of the exciting directions we're going, and updates from LA County and California Departments of Public Health, and specifically how things are looking for San Marino Unified School District. But first, the exciting stuff. We are beginning to see some level of normalcy return to our schools. You know, for instance, at San Marino High School over the last several weeks, we had over 100 people attend a drive-in movie a couple of weeks ago at the high school. Very safe, and everybody had a wonderful time. Over the last 2 weeks, David Irier and our coaches have brought back over 100 Titan athletes attending after-school athletics practices. That feels good. The conditioning and skill building practices will grow to nearly 200 over the course of the next several weeks. I have heard from parents of players who are just so excited that kids were able to get back in shape and practice with their friends and be with their coaches. And one parent noted that it was just great to have his son participate in something that had nothing to do with Zoom or Google Meet. Another parent noted just how well organized and safe the practices were. Hey, last weekend was wonderful. I just want to thank Blake Williams. We had a great VAPA department debut of the live online Alice in Wonderland. Wow, what an amazing job the actors did at interacting from a distance. You think how hard that's got to be for kids, you know, to act in the first place, but then to do it in a socially distanced way. Wow. The lighting and the ambiance was so cool. It was very dreamlike. Just great job, Blake, and our amazing Titan actors, set and costume designers, screenwriters, hair and makeup crew, props and lighting folks, producers, directors, and all of the other essential players who pulled off a really great production. I really enjoyed that. I also understand that our marching band and our dance companies are in the works of putting together performances in the coming days. Well, what about Huntington Middle School? Well, last weekend saw the great Huntington breakfast, again in a very different way. It was just another shining example of how our PTAs and our students, our staff, and our principals continue to adapt and adjust to a social distance while maintaining very important traditions for our community. On Friday of that Huntington breakfast, we all got to pick up our DIY pancake kits, which included really great pancake mix, chocolate chips to put in those pancakes, fruit, Jones Roasters coffee, and orange juice, and there was even a whisk in there to put it all together. Competitions for house decorations, classroom contests, and pancake making began on the 24th, and it was really neat to see pictures from that. As far as performing arts at Huntington, the choir, the orchestra, the band have been engaged in performances via Zoom. I've had a chance to sit in on some of that. It's just been great to see the kids doing a great job and our directors just making it happen in a distance way. As far as Red Ribbon Week, it's been at all 4 of our sites, but this week at Huntington, they had a great week featuring 2 student-created videos, one on mental health, the other on anti-bullying, and those went out to the kids this week. Also, the students had a great time in a scavenger hunt that was supportive of a healthy lifestyle, part of which I noticed from quite a few of the photos was that great Dodger win, our World Series champion Dodgers. That was a healthy bit of reality for us to engage in over those last couple of weeks. I already feel the loss of it not being on TV, but great job. We're so thankful for the Dodgers and for bringing that little moment of joy to Los Angeles. What about Carver Elementary School? The teachers and staff had a wonderfully socially distanced picnic at a local park back on October 13th. Just today, Carver celebrated their first and hopefully only Halloween parade for their fabulous pioneers. So that was just great. The event was live streamed on Facebook for those who could not attend in person. It was just so much fun to see the kids and the families who participated. Valentine Elementary, yeah, great pumpkin patch back on the 9th. It was great to stop by there and see the pumpkins laid out and folks coming through. Just so much great community involvement, and the PT affiliate supported it, so thank you everyone. Also at Valentine, as at Carver, we had picture days, and they had a couple days of very busy photo taking outside of the front of the campus with parents driving through, kids jumping out, taking photos. It was just great. They also had their great virtual and in-person book fair with San Marino Toy and Bookshop. That occurred a week ago. And then Red Ribbon Week, as I mentioned, this week. Lots of great activities around that. Also had their readathon kickoff. And they, too, at Valentine, had their Halloween drive-through parade today from 1 to 2:30. Just great stuff going on over there. Like I said, this has been a month of activities that have given us a renewed sense of community, support, and togetherness. What about the COVID-19 update and reopening? Well, one thing has become apparent over these last several months. Information continues to evolve and change from the state and county on a daily basis. And we are all working very hard to interpret that guidance and understand what does it mean for us, for our students, our staff, our parents, and our community. And then we need to get that out to you. So that's what we're trying to do, is get you that communication that lets you be aware of what's happening and aware of current directions. So LA County continues to be on the wrong side of the health metrics. You know, even though City of San Marino has very low case rates, the county remains in the state's most restrictive tier for reopening schools because we continue as a county to report more than 7 cases per 100,000 residents each day. So listen, as a county, as I've mentioned before, we have to spend 14 days with acceptable daily positivity rates and overall case rates before we can transition to the other tier, the red tier, the second tier. Now, once we get into the second tier, we have to remain there an additional 14 days before the State Department of Public Health would hand off the baton to LA County Department of Public Health, who would then provide guidance for reopening. And even when that guidance is provided, it's then incumbent on individual districts to make decisions around how they reopen. You know, this last Thursday, Dr. Ferrer said in our update that in a best case scenario, it will be at least 5 weeks from this coming Monday, November 2nd, before any schools might be allowed to open en masse. I provide all that detail simply to say that, you know, as you have known and as you noticed on the news, we continue to sort of in LA County wallow in that tier 1. And we have to start considering the possibility that a more plausible scenario for reopening our campuses en masse might occur after the winter holidays. But that's out in front of us. I'm still holding out hope that that's not the case. I just know how important it is for kids to be back to school as soon as possible. But we have to do that in a safe way, safe for our kids, safe for our staff. And I just want to be really transparent about the reality of that situation. You've heard a lot about the TK2 waiver process that came out of the county supervisors. I'm happy to report that we have gained the support of each of our bargaining units, our Board of Education, parent and community groups, and we have submitted our TK2 waiver application to the county. I just want to thank Dr. Choi and the COVID-19 compliance team for keeping that application process on track and for preparing our school sites for a safe reopening in the not too distant future. We hope to hear from the county something over the next or maybe within several weeks. As far as the last item today, the parcel tax renewal, which we reported on in the board this last week, we have a huge pivotal moment ahead of us in March as we move towards the renewal of Measure E. This parcel tax currently supports 31 teaching and counseling positions, and without it, San Marino Unified School District would look much, much different. We engaged in a randomized scientific randomized community poll that was conducted by Tramutola and Associates and True North Polling, and the results were shared with the Board of Education this last Tuesday night. We were very pleased to hear of widespread and strong support from our community to renew Measure E and provide that stable funding source for the future. The Board of Education will meet on November 10th to take action on whether or not to place a ballot measure on the March 4th ballot to renew our present Measure E in support of teaching and learning. Well, listen, some final thoughts. I've just been so encouraged over the last several weeks with our virtual board visits to classrooms. Each of our board members have been in classrooms at all 4 sites, and we have witnessed outstanding, creative, and passionate teachers effectively delivering content to engage learners. We were able to see amazing student projects, artwork, physical education. That was fantastic to see kids exercising with their teachers. Music, game playing, many other wonderful examples of a truly reimagined education. As I said earlier, in the last couple of weeks, we've begun to see signs of semi-normalcy returning to some programs in our sites. I will end today's update with a few glimpses around the district of these activities. And with that, have a wonderful weekend and a very safe Halloween. Thank you.